It always begins the same way. First there's the drum. It begins low and muted. And then it gets louder and louder. Then I know it isn't a drum anymore, but my heart. Then I suddenly look around and I'm walking on a long avenue, and the buildings lean down as if they were about to fall on me. People are walking nearby, but they don't seem to see me. And then there's the laughter. And suddenly I see a house at the end of the avenue, and I know that if I can get there, I'll be saved. I begin to walk faster. My heart begins to beat faster. And the people begin to chase me. They want to stop me, and they laugh. And then I'm awake. And I know it's just a dream.
On behalf of the United Service for New Americans, station WMCA presents an original drama, Just a Dream, written by Milton Robertson, produced and directed by Mitchell Grayson, and starring Richard Widmark.
You've probably had dreams that are very similar. The falling dream seems to be fairly universal. There's a page in Freud that gives a comprehensive analysis, and any competent psychiatrist could give you a satisfactory interpretation. But I decided that the usual analysis wasn't enough for me, so I analyzed the dream myself. If you don't mind, you're invited to meet my subconscious. First, the drums. Why drums? Why not cymbals or thunder? Why drums? At first I thought of parades, of concerts, of military functions, but none of them seemed to fit. And then, as if a movie flashed through my mind, I saw the answer. I was marching along a hot, dusty road with many other men. We'd just come from our work. I won't make this complicated. We were slaves. Jewish slaves engaged on a project on the outskirts of a city called Lublin. You've heard of Lublin, of course. I won't repeat its blood-stained history. I'll just mention the furnaces and the gas chambers briefly to set the locale for you. That day we'd been working for 16 hours. We had little to eat for years. We had little rest for years. Most of us were ill. I'd seen someone's leg snap back on the road. The bone literally broke by itself, too weak to bear the burden of the man's weight. We heard the crack almost as sharp as the sound of the rifle shot that followed. The march continued, but somehow we couldn't keep step.
Halt! Faulmeier, step out.
I stepped out.
We are not marching in step, Herr Meyer. The rules say there must be a march in step. I'm glad that you do not argue this rule. It shows you have some intelligence. That is why I'm selecting you as leader. You will go to the head of this detail. You will take this little box with you, and you will beat out a rhythm. And so we will all march in step. It will be a fast rhythm. And if anybody falls out of step, we will remove him from the group. Do you understand?
I understand.
And proceed to the head of the detail, Herr Meyer, and proceed to march. And beat the box.
I went to the head of the group, and I began to march, beating as I walked. I beat slowly.
A little faster, Herr Meyer.
I beat a little faster. We walked a little faster.
Someone fell out of step. Unfortunate. It would be better to keep in time.
I kept up the beat. I hit the box with my open hand, and I kept kept up the beat. I forgot that I was tired. I forgot that my legs ached, that my heart hurt, that a sickness was sitting in my throat. I forgot to think, and I forgot to hear. I kept up the beat until we arrived in camp. We were 4 short at roll call. We were 4 short in our barracks. And for a long time, the beat stayed in my mind. Those, my friends, those beats have become the drums of my dream. The next item to be examined was the laughter. Laughter seemed important in that dream. Important because the first laugh I heard was generally that of a woman, a rather pleasant laugh, different from the others that followed. They were harsh and angry, and one could evaluate them as being symbolic of some aggressive force. But the woman's laughter puzzled me. It was a happy sound, so I busied myself with searching for a trail of happiness. It wasn't very hard to find. It's been a rare commodity in my life.
Paul, you look like an absolute idiot.
Well, I take it that remark is intended as a compliment. If not, consider our engagement off.
Oh, of course it's a compliment. It's perfect. Just the right eyebrow. You have it twisted. Wait till I fix it.
No.
Huh?
Don't touch it. I worked on that effect for 20 minutes. That's supposed to give me a diabolical look.
Heaven knows you look diabolical enough, you'll scare the audience right out of their seats. And that hideous little mustache.
That hideous little mustache, my dear, was copied exactly from his photograph, and so was the entire costume, for that matter, except for a little exaggeration here and there.
Well, if you ask me, I think the whole idea's a little exaggerated.
Oh, you do?
Writing a play and then acting in it, it's such a waste of time on the subject of one stupid little man with a mustache by the name of, what's his name, Paul?
Hitler.
Even the name is ridiculous. I'm afraid I'll be laughing through the whole thing.
She did laugh through the whole thing. So did a lot of other people. They laughed at the whole thing, and I, who played Hitler, in the hopes that they would see and recognize him with me. Well, I was a little embarrassed, and a little hurt, and just a little angry. As for Ruth, she learned. They all learned. My engagement was broken off. No, not a formal break. It was canceled by a gas chamber at Majdanek. Ruth's laughter was wiped out forever with 10 minutes of poison gas. And now for the people in that dream. The people that don't seem to see me as I walk down that avenue. You might be interested in that detail. No more concentration camps, no clever torture. This takes place after what is commonly known as liberation. You remember, don't you, about 2 years ago, maybe a little more. They stopped shooting. They draped the world in confetti, sang songs that echoed across the ocean and announced liberation. Liberation crawled into our camp on weary feet and hoarse voice. It came in and it sat down beside our barracks like a stranger, not sure of how it was going to be greeted. And that was only proper. For we didn't know how to say hello to freedom. We just didn't know how. For instance, take Jacob, who lay in the cot next to mine. He was an invisible sort of man, almost faded into nothing. To describe him in a drawing, you'd have to sketch 2 huge eyes and ribs pressing sharp against the skin. He didn't quite know how to greet liberation.
Paul?
Yes, Jacob?
Something has happened?
Yes, I think so.
Something strange.
Very strange.
Paul, do you think that... No.
What, Jacob?
Do you think maybe Maybe they'll let us rest. They haven't come in yet. They always come in on time. They haven't come in yet.
I don't know. Something's wrong. Maybe we better get up. Maybe it's just a trick. Maybe they'll beat us for resting like this.
They can't beat me anymore. Not anymore.
Wait, here comes somebody. Maybe he knows. Maybe he could tell us.
Tell him to talk loud. It's hard for me to hear.
They took the town, and they have come at last.
Louder, I can't hear him.
Louder. Jacob can't hear you.
They have come, the Allies, the Americans. They have come at last. We are free.
Oh.
We are free.
Paul, what does he say? What does he say?
He says... Jacob. Jacob? Jacob! That's the way it came to us. Too late for some, too strange for most of us. Well, we were free. We wanted to taste it. We wanted to touch it. We wanted to examine this freedom. How do you shake it by the hand? How do you invite it to stay with you? We lay there in our barracks and we tried to think. Frankly, most of us couldn't get up. Even if we'd known that on such occasions one celebrates, we couldn't. We weren't able to get up. But later, a long time later, we were up and moving and free. Only then it was too late for celebration. And as frankly as before, we wondered whether we should celebrate. I remember discussing it with a friend, an old barrack friend.
And tomorrow, Paul? What then?
The barracks again. Wait again. Hope again.
I can't stand it, Paul. You know what's happening inside of me? I'm two people. Inside of me there's a Carl, and his knees are calloused from kneeling and holding out his hand like a beggar. Inside of me, this Carl is cringing and looking for a corner where a Jew can hide and be completely forgotten, not just 50%.
Yes, I know.
So they take us out of prison, and they put us in another one. Only this one is more refined. Displaced persons. Now we have a gentleman's title. We Jews have become people with distinction. We're not just anonymous slaves. We're displaced persons, liberated.
Damn it, stop it! Don't you think I feel the same way? Don't you think I feel the shame and the hurt of not being able to live and work? Unable to look myself in the face in the mirror like a man ought to?
All right.
Shut up! Just forget what you're saying. They said wait. They promised us. We'll wait a little while longer.
For what?
For liberation.
Outside our camp, they walk by as if we don't exist. The same ones who hated us yesterday. The same ones who took what we had when the taking was easy. They walk by free, and they don't even know that we exist.
Please, Carl, no more. Maybe there's an answer somewhere, but please stop talking about it. The people who walk by and never see us. You know who they are now. You know them and how they still climb. Become a fracture to the end. How they 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 become...